Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on another What's in the Box. Today we're going to review NECA's Friday the 13th Part 7 New Blood Jason Voorhees figure. This is one of my favorite Friday films, partly because it's Kane Hodder's very first film, but also that they gave him a protagonist that was kind of his equal in a lot of ways. I like the character of Tina, I like her power set, and I like that she comes up against Jason and Jason has sort of met his match in this film. Of course, you could say Jason has met his match with normal humans without telekinetic powers in the past, but I just find that they put Jason through a lot during this, and that's kind of the fun of it. Of course, some of the teen characters are a little paper cutouts, and but whatever. I enjoy it for what it is. Of course, it would probably not rank in the top 5, definitely top 10. Of course, then there's only like 12 Friday movies, but anyway, it's up there for me, probably 5 or 6 in a ranking. But we're going to get into this, take a look at the accessories, and I'll tell you how the figure turned out. So here we have the Part 7 Jason Voorhees figure. The smile on my face is simply from unboxing this. Wow, there's a great deal of accessories here. Dang near every kill from the movie. And the figure itself is just really, really well done. I've got to give NECA props for capturing this figure the way that they have. And you'll see why when I get to the breakdown of all these accessories, weapons, and the figure itself. So let's start with the figure. First and foremost, Jason has a sort of green-gray look to his clothing, which is pretty accurate to the film. There were scenes where it was a little more blue-gray, scenes where it was green-gray, scenes where it was just simply gray as far as the costuming went. Now, this is the only thing where I guess you could say it's lacking, but it's not really. Not really. The clothing sculpt is amazing. There are so many tears and so many little things going on in the clothing itself. Anywhere that you see a large part of the body uncovered, that is made of more of a rubbery material that fits around the body. Even his pants legs are a rubber material. So this is pretty much a figure that's covered in a lot of rubber pieces. I mean, pretty much the whole thing, other than the joints. Most of this is a rubbery material put over the top of the actual body, and that's kind of amazing little feat on its own. He has some boots here. They're brown with a light dry brushing and darker soles. And then he has, of course, his chain, where Tommy Jarvis put him under the water in Part 6. And that's actually real well done. It could be a reuse of the chain that came with the Frankenstein figure, but you could argue which one of those came first. But technically, maybe Jason came before the Frankenstein figure. Either way, possible reuse, but still nicely done and wrapped around his neck just like in the movie. As far as the damage to his body, it's quite accurate. Back here is one of the main pieces you'll notice in the first scene where Jason rises from the water, is his backbone and his rib cage and spine are all on display in the film, and they got that here. Same with the front side. You could see his ribs in the film, and then of course various parts and pieces of his body throughout his clothing in the movie. Hands were a big thing in the film. No gloves in this particular movie, and his hands were pretty torn up. You could see the muscle, the tissue, and the bone through it. I can report you can see the same here. they've perfectly captured it so far. As far as the hockey, well, let's slowly remove this because, you know, these hockey masks can break from time to time. And reveal that beautiful face that only a mother could love. Now, I haven't looked at this head, but I'm pretty sure the paint jobs will be fairly identical. He came with the standard head and a screaming head from a particular scene in the film where there's the hockey mask reveal. They have gotten the colors accurate on both of these heads. There was a sort of a bone underlay under one eye that's showing through here. He had a lot of creepy brown textures, light and dark through the movie, and of course teeth showing from the side of his jaw. This is all done really well. You can even see his one bad eye versus the good eye. I'm going to say this is probably the most accurate head sculpt I've seen from him. It has a really great prominent look, as you can tell here. I'll take a quick gander at this head, and it's much the same. It's quite accurate, and has all the tells of the special makeup effects that were in the movie. So the figure, quite solid. Let's get to the hockey mask. This being one of my favorite Friday films, I know this hockey mask like the back of my hand. And they have, in fact, captured it in this 7-inch scale. Paint-wise, it's got an interesting paint job, actually. It's kind of nicely weathered with a lot of brush strokes across the face to kind of give it this sort of scratched look. And that works perfectly for it. There were more details, battle damage that they could have added, but they kind of glossed over that. Not a big deal. He particularly had a dark mark across his nose in the film. But they did really well catching a hockey mask that is pretty hard to do, even in full scale. Now, as far as his weapons go, we have the tent spike that he has 2 kills with at the very start of the movie. Only complaint with this would be that it's much bigger than it appeared in the film, probably twice the size. That's okay, but it does have a bloody end and a silver end. He ends up killing Jane and Michael at the start of the film with that tent spike. He then comes across some campers out minding their own business, kills them both, and steals his classic machete. That is a clean paint job, nice silver blade, nice black handle with little silver bolts going throughout. Pretty nice so far. Of course, then we move on to the skinny dipping scene in which he kills Michael with an axe. Can't remember where he picked up that axe, but he does do that. This has a darker silver blade, a nice wooden handle, and actually some bloody bits across the blade and the handle itself. So, another nice weapon. Now, of course, the one thing we're missing out of these accessories would be a sleeping bag. I would have loved to seen that, and hopefully NECA will give us a new accessory pack sometime in the future and include a sleeping bag, because of course that's everyone's favorite kill from the film. Of course, we're also missing the party horn, where he kills one of the kids outside of the van with the party horn. Of course, I can see why they didn't include that exactly. He then, of course, uses, let's see, he does use this at some point. This hook knife that he finds in the barn, I believe he kills Maddie with. Again, nice wood handle, nice silver blade. He follows that up with a kill by knife. I believe the character's name's David, and he goes down for a ham sandwich, and, well, he gets dead. Now, the big two weapons that people remember in the film, or at least I do, is the large bladed weapon with the handle. I'm not sure what this would be used for in reality. Could have been made up for the movie. I don't know. Nice silver handle. It's double colored. One part is dark and the blade's edge is light. Really good. Nice red paint. Nice bolts. And wooden handle. Well done. Now, the standout weapon for this set is this weed eater. Of course, it's an augmented weed eater, and get that, it spins. I don't know why anyone would need one of these in the real world, but Jason needs one for this particular film. This has tons and tons of detail. This captures a weed eater perfectly. I don't really see much paint off by this. Of course, silver handle, silver blade. It has a good bit of weathering on this blade, so it looks pretty real. Lots of little bolts and details to hold that into place. Of course, you've got handle. It's black and silver. And then you have the trigger right here for the weapon and or weed eater, depending on your use. And then really nice weathered paint job of the reds here, blacks, even the little gas tank. It has a oil spill look to it. It's fantastic. I mean, really, really well done. And then, of course, we have the final piece, Jason's broken mask. This typically goes with this head, but since this one's on, I will show you here. And you can just place it like that. And there is the face reveal scene when Tina snaps his mask in half. Really, this is probably one of the best NECA figures I've reviewed sans Frankenstein since this channel's began. Frankenstein was an amazing piece of art. This is the same thing. It's an amazing piece of art in 7/8 scale. So I couldn't say more about it. Of course, I love this character. I love the makeup effects in this film anyway, but it doesn't get much better than this figure here. I think the only way you could get better is if you had this in a 6 scale. And I wish NECA would go back to doing 6 scale figures. But again, amazing figure. Pick him up. I got this one off of Target.com, and he should be releasing to most stores and most online stores anytime now. So I'm super, super happy to add him to my collection. And I'm glad you stuck with me through this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks.